This is the Vivo X200 Ultra with a telephoto lens. And this is my go-to camera from Sony, the A7RV with the 70-200mm lens and a 1.4x teleconverter. So let's test and see which one comes out on top. Let's go! Hey friends, this video was translated using AI, so the sound quality isn't the best. If you want to listen to the original sound from the smartphones and hear the audio recording test, just follow the link to our original video in the description. Let's start testing. First up is the Vivo, then the Sony camera. It's important to say a few words about the specs of our cameras. The Vivo X200 Ultra has a 200-megapixel telephoto lens at 85mm, with an f2.27 aperture and a sensor size of 1/1.4 inches. The external lens gives a 2.35x magnification, bringing the optical zoom to about 200mm. The Sony A7RV has a full-frame sensor with 61 megapixels. Just so you understand, a full-frame sensor is almost 20 times larger than the telephoto sensor in the Vivo. I'm using the camera paired with a lens, Sony 70-200mm, f2.8, G Master OSS of the second generation, and the 1.4x teleconverter increases the focal length to 98-280mm, but reduces the aperture to f4. It's also important to consider the difference in file formats. On the Sony, shooting was done in RAW, which contains the maximum information from the sensor. Afterwards, we converted all the shots to JPEG using Lightroom. On the Vivo, I shot directly in JPEG, so both the file size and the depth of the original photo data are different for us. So now I'm attaching the telephoto lens. Right away, it prompts us, like, let's connect this telephoto extender. Now I want to take a picture of that distant sign over there. I can't even see with my own eyes what's on it at all. And our first focal length is 200mm. I'm taking the photo now, and let's start shooting.
The subject of our shoot is a bus ticket kiosk, which is located on the other side of the road at a considerable distance. And even at the first zoom levels, the result is impressive. Excellent sharpness, legible text, the photos are crisp and high quality. As you increase the zoom, digital processing starts to kick in more and more. It's quite noticeable, but for a small smartphone sensor, there's just no way around it.
Yeah, guys, this is just incredible 1600mm, and I can zoom in even more. So, it turns out my maximum zoom here is 5400mm.
This is about 63x from the base telephoto lens on the Vivo. At this point, most of the image is literally filled in by neural networks. But the fact remains, we can read small text from this distance on a smartphone. That really is impressive.
Let's fire up our super telemonster. A full-frame camera and an amazing lens, 70-200mm with an f2.8 aperture. But since I also have a teleconverter attached, which further increases the focal length, my aperture will be at f4. But still, it's going to be mega super cool. And let's see if our Sony camera can compete. A Sony camera setup like this costs about $7,000, while the Vivo plus the telephoto lens is around $1,000. Well, maybe around $1,500.
On the Sony camera, we have access to a maximum zoom of 280mm. This value is achieved with a 70-200mm lens paired with a 1.4x teleconverter. And for even greater magnification, you can use the clear image zoom function. This is a digital zoom up to 1.5x that maintains high detail. While it's no longer pure optics, the result is still very high quality and works well for shooting distant subjects. We're comparing photos from Vivo and Sony. At the first zoom level, it's clear that the result on the right looks better. The photo from Vivo is less sharp. You can see pixelation along the edges of the letters, and the smaller text is just blurred. At the next level of magnification, the situation remains the same. Once again, Sony's image is cleaner and more precise in terms of detail. Nevertheless, even with the distortions from the algorithms, the text in the Vivo photo remains readable. Next, we start manually cropping the Sony image right in the editor to match the equivalent of 800mm on the Vivo. And again, the text from Sony looks neater and more readable. However, with such cropping, you can already see noise in the photo on the right, whereas Vivo actively suppresses it.
We see the same thing at the next level of zoom, equivalent to 1600mm, with Vivo. I won't repeat myself. Let's move on.
The final zoom, 5400mm on the Vivo and a crop to about 7x on the Sony. It's the same story. Sony has more noise, but the text remains readable, while Vivo is too aggressive. Cleans up and redraws everything. What's surprising is that Vivo let us reach much further, up to the equivalent, 5400mm. Yes, a lot of it relies on algorithms, but the very fact that you can get this kind of zoom from a smartphone is impressive, and even Sony's expensive optics can't match this range.
I've now activated video mode, so I can shoot 4K at 60 frames per second at 200 millimeters. In video mode, I can only zoom up to 1150 millimeters, which is the maximum focal length.
Honestly, friends, I wouldn't recommend shooting without a stabilizer here. The higher the zoom, the more intense the shake. But the range on the Vivo is honestly impressive. The Sony zoom isn't as powerful, and the image also shakes noticeably. Still, the video seems to look a bit sharper than Vivo's at maximum zoom. But let's compare both results under the same conditions. In editing, we zoom in the Sony footage to match the same close-up as the Vivo and take a freeze frame. And what can I say when the crop is the same? The results are very similar. Vivo, overall, doesn't fall behind, except maybe there's a bit more noise.
Guys, in general, why do you even need such super cool telephoto lenses? Well, first and foremost, it's of course for shooting nature, probably. So, if you want to observe some animals from a distance, that's exactly what telephoto lenses are bought for. It's basically for shooting in the wild, right? So you can zoom in from really far away, focus on the subject from a distance, and photograph it without scaring it off. There are some birds flying far away over there, so I'll try to take a picture of the birds with my camera now.
Let's start with the first close-ups. For the Vivo X200 Ultra, that's the equivalent of 200 millimeters, and for the Sony A7RV, it's 280 millimeters. At first glance, the shot from the smartphone seems sharper, but on closer inspection, you can see that the detail on the Vivo is weak. The image is soft, with visible pixels. On the Sony, the picture looks higher quality thanks to better contrast and more expressive bokeh. The next shot is 400 millimeters on the Vivo and 420 millimeters on the Sony. Here, the difference is even more obvious. The professional camera produces a more natural, three-dimensional, and detailed image. The smartphone noticeably lags behind. The Vivo can zoom in even further, up to 800 millimeters. But really, we're just doing a digital crop from the Sony shot. Even at this level of zoom, the Sony doesn't lose out in quality, but it's clear how the X200 Ultra starts to aggressively apply its algorithms. It boosts sharpness and fills in missing details. The maximum zoom is 1600 millimeters. Here again, you can see Vivo's aggressive processing. The smartphone literally redraws the image. And even though it's not natural in terms of sharpness and perception, the result even beats Sony.
Guys, the main inconvenience I'm feeling right now is that when I hold it like this with my hand, pressing tightly with my thumb, I keep touching the screen. Because of this, I can't end up pressing the button, since when I touch the screen, the shutter release doesn't work. In this regard, it's clear that Vivo didn't really think this through. If they had put a small plastic cover here, by the way, that's exactly what Xiaomi did in their new photography kit, they actually thought about this. And there, I didn't cover or touch the screen with my hand. Here, of course, you have to hold it very carefully. Well, it's not really convenient, because if you try to hold it straight with one hand like this, so you can take a photo, you just won't be able to take the picture. Friends, well, another use for the telephoto lens, as I see it, is of course shooting things like school performances, celebrations, or family photos. For example, right now I'll show you how this telephoto lens works when my kids are over there, far away. And then we'll go to the morning performance of our youngest daughter Mia and try to take photos from a distance, because at such events you can't always get close enough to take a good picture of your child. That's why things like this allow you to get shots like these.
So what do we have here? Well, things are looking pretty good, at least at the first close-up. Both shots turn out beautiful, sharp, with a nice optical background blur. All in all, excellent portraits. At the next zoom level, something interesting happens. In the portrait photo, the Sony ended up with a bit of blur. And here, it all comes down to the depth of field. With a full-frame camera and an open aperture, the depth of field is very shallow, especially at a focal length of 200 millimeters. In this case, I was shooting in aperture priority mode, and the value was f/4. You'd think that at f/4, objects standing next to each other would both be in focus. But it's such a focal length, even a slight shift, literally 20 centimeters, takes a person out of focus, and I just needed to stop down the aperture to at least f/8 or even f/11. Then everyone would have been in focus. But I didn't notice this on the camera's screen. At the same time, the Vivo has a 6.5-inch screen, so you can immediately see who's in focus and who isn't. I keep zooming in, and in the photo on the right, you can already notice graininess on the skin. Noise starts to appear. Meanwhile, Vivo actively cleans up the image and doesn't fall short compared to a camera with powerful optics at all. And now for the final close-up. Once again, the Vivo X200 Ultra performs admirably. And here it clearly wins in how it suppresses noise on the skin, whereas on the Sony, artifacts become more noticeable. Now let's move on to video recording. And this is the result we get on the X200 Ultra.
So now, let's take our camera. Of course, the background blur is really beautiful here because we're using a full-frame camera. And of course, this type of image looks absolutely amazing. Of course, Sony optics allow you to achieve a more pronounced bokeh effect. The blur looks stronger and more natural. Let's compare the image quality. I paused the video and zoom in on the Sony footage to match the close-up on the Vivo. The results are very close, but to the eye, it seems that the Vivo has a bit more noise in the fine details, although the difference is minimal. Once again, very impressive. Vivo, I'm impressed. By the way, guys, we already have several big videos testing the Vivo X200 Ultra on our channel. Not hinting at anything, but the links to those videos will be in the description. Let's keep going. Now we're moving to more challenging conditions, at my younger daughter Mia's morning performance, in the assembly hall. It's important to clarify that on the Vivo, I took the shot right during video recording. And of course, the final quality turned out mediocre compared to the photo on the Sony. The photos on the left are noisy and blurry, you can clearly see all of that. On the Sony, when you zoom in a lot, the noise is also noticeable and quite pronounced, but overall the result is noticeably better. But if you take pictures on the Vivo directly in photo mode, the difference is immediately obvious. The smartphone activates its algorithms, brightens the face, and pulls out more details. Of course, even then, the Sony photo looks more detailed, but still quite noisy. Which is better, graininess or a processed result with some details smoothed out? What do you think, friends? And what if I want to shoot video in these conditions? Here, of course, the professional camera delivers a higher quality and deeper result. The image looks vibrant and well-developed. But as for the video on the left, I definitely wouldn't keep it as a memory. Well, friends, you've seen the photo and video samples from both Vivo and Sony yourself. But before we draw any conclusions, let's talk about the most important point, the prices. My Vivo X200 Ultra, the 1TB version with the photography kit, cost me $1,728, including shipping, taxes, and discounts. Not cheap, you might say. Hold on, let's take a look at the price tag in the professional market segment. When you add up the cost of Sony A7RV camera body, the 70-200mm f2.8 lens, and a 1.4x teleconverter, even if you go with the lowest prices, the whole kit would be at least 2.5 times more expensive than the Vivo with the photography kit. Of course, these are completely different classes of equipment. A smartphone simply can't compete on equal footing with a full-frame sensor and expensive optics. But that's not the main point. The Vivo X200 Ultra with an external lens really shoots at a very high level. It won't replace a professional camera, but in many situations it delivers results that, just a couple of years ago, we wouldn't have expected from a phone. At the same time, your smartphone is always with you, it sits in your pocket, and the photo kit easily fits into a compartment of your backpack and is barely noticeable, whereas a professional camera is not only much heavier but also takes up a lot more space. And carrying around extra lenses is a whole other hassle. That's why I can confidently recommend this photo kit to X200 Ultra owners if you want to achieve even cooler and more interesting results with your smartphone. What do you think, friends? Is this a worthwhile purchase or not? Let me know in the comments. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and goodbye to everyone.